My wife Anna had a remarkable talent. Painting. Drawing was like life itself to her. She poured pieces of her soul into her art. Her paintings were like her children. If they were damaged or lost, she would be devastated, as if a part of her own being had been torn away. Her heart would burn. Even though we'd been married for 5 years, I could never warm up to painting the way she did. She tried so hard to teach me. I must give her credit for that. But in the end, talent is a God-given thing. My interest and enthusiasm would always fade after a while. Yet she never gave up. Somehow, she would convince me to sit at that table again, because Anna wanted not just herself but other people to love painting. She worked as an art teacher at a private college, and in her free time, she gave lessons to talented children for free. That was what I loved most about her. Her heart was just as beautiful as her paintings. She spent hours and hours painting, but never at the expense of our marriage. For that reason, our years together had been happy and free of fights, but everything changed from the roots just 1 week ago. It was an ordinary morning at 7. We both left the house for work and said our goodbyes, nothing different from what we had done countless times before. But when I came home around 4:30 in the afternoon, I saw something unusual. Anna was in the room she used as her art studio, drawing something. I call it unusual because she normally didn't come home before 6. I thought maybe something unfortunate had happened at school. She wasn't someone who would abandon her work for a trivial reason. "Did something happen, darling?" I stood at the doorway of the studio. She didn't turn her head, not even a glance. It was as if she wasn't even aware of my presence. Sometimes she got so caught up in her work that this happened, so I went closer and touched her shoulder. "Honey?" The moment she felt my hand, her whole body jolted. She still didn't turn to me, but she suddenly dropped her pencil on the table, as though she had lost interest in the drawing. She straightened her upper body, staring ahead at the cream-colored board filled with sketches. Just as I was about to ask her another question, she darted out of the room, almost as if fleeing. "Anna, what's going on?" I was about to follow her when my eyes fell upon the drawing she had been working on. Anna usually drew portraits of animals, nature, or single human figures. But this was a drawing of our street. It was drawn from the perspective of someone looking through a window. At the intersection, 2 vehicles, a car and a truck, were nose to nose, about to collide. Next to the car, a man stood with his hand on his forehead, while in front of the truck, another man with raised arms was shouting. The car was rendered in detail, but the back of the truck was obscured, as if cut off by a tree. It was our oak tree, the one in front of our house that had stood dry and lifeless for years. Only its trunk was shown. So far, this was still within the realm of normal. But then came the detail that shattered the normality. Next to the tree, right in the window's frame, stood a black figure, a man in a hood, like a shadow. Nothing but black. No features, no shading, except for 2 white ovals where the eyes should have been. This was disturbing. Anna never painted supernatural things. Had she changed her style? I began calling her name throughout the house, but every silence after my voice gnawed at me deeper. At last I found her lying on the bed, still in her morning clothes, facing away from the door. She was either asleep or pretending to be. I almost said something, but stopped. Perhaps she'd just had a rough day at school. So I let her rest. Hours later, around 8:23, I heard loud noises outside, a crash, breaking wood, metal crunching. At first I didn't move, but when I also heard shouting, I rushed to the window. 2 vehicles stood in the intersection. The men beside them were arguing loudly, one of them shouting and flailing his arms. Déjà vu. I had seen this before. Anna's drawing. The car, the truck, the men, the window's perspective. The only thing missing was the black figure. I froze, afraid to think it was lurking outside, waiting for me to look out. I thought of waking Anna, but stopped. Too trivial a reason to disturb her. Tomorrow I'd ask. Later, with a splitting headache, I decided to sleep early. Yet, as I reached for our bedroom door, I couldn't open it. I was afraid to lie defenseless next to her. "Stop it, Edward, she's your damn wife." I forced myself to sleep. The next morning, she was gone again. After searching, I found her. Not in the kitchen, not getting ready for work, but back in the studio, drawing as if nothing else existed. "Anna, what is your problem?" She ignored me. I pulled her away from the paper, and at last, she looked at me. Her eyes were bloodshot, veins too visible. How long had she been sitting there? The paper showed a new drawing. A man at a kitchen counter staring at his own hand in discontent. The kitchen was ours. Behind me in the window, the black figure. Again. I recoiled. Anna returned to her work as though nothing had happened. My body trembled with shock. I fled the house. At work, I confided in my friend Fred. He tried to lighten the mood, but ended up concerned. Suggested therapy. Maybe. But when I came home that evening, things got worse. At my door was a white envelope, unmarked, addressed only to me. I cut my thumb trying to open it. Blood dripped. Then I saw the paper inside. 3 words, written large enough to send chills through me. "The last painting is complete." I had to see it. Upstairs in the studio, a new painting lay on the desk, trembling with the breeze. Against all instinct, I stepped closer. It was our bedroom. My body lay on the floor, blood spilling from my chest. Standing over me was Anna, smiling grotesquely, holding a knife dripping red. And behind me, the black figure. Larger now, clearer, grinning with a hollow mouth, its blank white eyes locked on me. My knees almost buckled. Keys. I needed my car keys. They weren't on me. I saw them upstairs on the dresser in our bedroom, the very room where the painting depicted my death. Still, I went. Just as I grabbed the keys, the wardrobe door slammed open. Anna burst out, knife raised, smiling that same unnatural smile. I dodged, barely. The blade slashed my arm wide open. Pain seared through me. She came at me again. I caught her wrist, holding off the knife just inches from my face. "Anna, stop, please!" But she only laughed, louder and louder, yet her eyes, they wept. Tears streamed down even as her mouth howled with insane joy. Her lips moved. I heard, or maybe only wanted to hear, 2 words, "Help me." Her grip loosened. I shoved her back. She tripped on the sheet and fell, her head cracking against the dresser. Silence. Blood pooled. Her eyes stared blankly, filling with red. I dropped the knife and rushed to her. That thing in her body. It wasn't my wife. But her final words, that desperate plea, were hers. I failed her. I abandoned her when she needed me most. "I'm sorry, Anna." I called 911. They took her away in critical condition. She lay in a coma. Days later, the hospital called. She hadn't made it. She failed to survive, but she succeeded in saving me. I cried endlessly, grief, guilt, and shamefully relief. But 15 minutes before writing this, a package arrived at my hotel door. No sender, no sound but the bell. Inside, a painting, fresh bloodstains still wet. The last painting.